Chapter 1. The First Red Flag. The evening was unusually warm, the kind that made the city glow amber under the streetlights. Ria wasn't supposed to be out that night. She was helping her best friend shop for a birthday dress. But fate rarely sent invitations. It usually walked in unannounced. That's when she saw him. Arif. Tall, sharp jawline, hair that fell perfectly without trying, eyes that looked like they held entire stories. He wasn't smiling, but something about his face made people stare anyway. He walked into the cafe where they were waiting for their order, and for a brief moment, his eyes met hers. Not the casual glance people exchange accidentally. No, he looked at her, like he was searching for someone and suddenly realized it was her. Her heart skipped. Her best friend whispered, "Bye, this is your type. Careful." Ria laughed it off, but she could feel her pulse in her neck. Arif approached the counter, placed an order, and then turned slightly. Just enough to keep her in his peripheral vision. Just enough to make her blush. Just enough to make her curious. After a few minutes, he walked toward the table next to theirs. Intentionally. He pretended to look for a seat, then stopped and asked, in a voice smooth enough to melt glass, "Is this seat taken?" Her friend quickly said no. Ria wanted to disappear into her own skin. Arif sat down. Quiet. Confident. A minute later, he leaned a little toward their direction. "I like your bracelet," he said, pointing subtly. Ria looked down and touched it. It was something she bought for herself months ago. No one had ever noticed it. "Thank you," she replied softly. "It suits you," he added, and she felt her stomach flutter. They exchanged names. Short conversation. Light smiles. And then, he suddenly stood up. "Nice meeting you," he said with that half-smile that felt dangerous. He walked away before she could even gather her thoughts. Her friend whispered, "Red flag." Ria frowned. "Why? Men who enter like a storm and leave like silence. They never come with a manual." Ria rolled her eyes, but deep inside, she felt that tiny tug in her heart. The kind of tug that usually leads to trouble. Chapter 2. The Text That Hooked Her. The buzz of her phone woke Ria more gently than the alarm she'd ignored that morning. It was late. The city had sunk into its usual hush, the kind that makes tiny noises scream. She blinked at the screen and frowned. An unknown number, a single message. "Hey, it's Arif. I'm sorry for the exit. Didn't want to be forward at the cafe, but I couldn't leave without saying hi. Can I text you?" Her thumb hovered. She told herself she would delete it. She told herself she didn't even know this man. She told herself 1,000 sensible things that resembled armor. But senses and hearts speak different languages. Her thumb tapped high. A simple reply, the kind that opens doors without forcing them. What followed was not the typical small talk that blooms and withers after a single stale question. He didn't ask the usual, "How are you?" or "Where are you from?" He asked about the bracelet she'd been wearing, the one she'd bought on a lonely rainy afternoon and never told anyone about. He asked what song she'd been humming when she walked in. He noticed the way she absent-mindedly tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous. Those little observations felt like moons pulled from orbit. They sounded ridiculous written down, but when a stranger remembered your small, private motions, it ignited something stubbornly hopeful. They texted all night. Hours stretched and folded into handfuls of words. He told her about the rooftop garden he'd been building with his neighbor, a small patch of green above the clutter of the city. She told him about her job editing wedding videos and the way light sometimes caught tears in brides' eyes like hidden stars. He sent her a picture of the rooftop at dusk. A sliver of sky, 2 pots of struggling basil, a string of fairy lights that had blown out but still looked promising. "So you like small beautiful things," he wrote. "You make them sound like secrets," she replied. Then, "You." He paused, measured his next lines like someone choosing the right song for the room. "I like things that stay quiet until you learn how to listen." She found herself smiling at the sentence, as if it were a private joke shared between friends who had known each other for years. He thought about words. He was attentive without being intrusive. It was intoxicating in a way that was soft, not sharp. He called twice. The first time she let it ring into voicemail and only listened afterward, laying on her bed, the ceiling staring back at her. The second time she answered. His voice was lower than his texts, but his laugh carried the same warmth. They didn't try to be clever. They told stories. He spoke of a strained relationship with a brother who'd chosen a different life. She spoke of her mother's stubborn optimism, the recipes she'd inherited. Time passed as if it were a different city altogether. When morning came, she felt like she had carried a night inside her, a night shaped like his sentences. Her friends coaxed her for details at brunch, half amused and half impressed by the speed this new thing had occupied her thoughts. "Be careful," Anaya said, stirring her coffee. "People who come in like fireworks remember the cafe. They can go out just as fast." "Maybe he won't," Ria said, not entirely sure she believed it but wanting to allow herself that beautiful uncertainty. For a week the messages were steady. They were sentences that fit into the seams of her day. A weather joke between clients, a photograph of a puddle that held the reflection of a neon sign, a recommendation for a book he swore would mess her up in a good way. There was balance. There was curiosity. He didn't ask too much, he didn't reveal too much. Enough to be interesting, not enough to feel threatening. Then came the text that hooked deeper than the others. It arrived at 2:28 a.m., the kind of hour that holds the world's secrets like breath. "Tell me, Ria," it read. "What do you want to remember when you're 80? She stared at the screen long enough for the words to sink in. It wasn't a question he'd heard somewhere. It sounded like he'd made it just for her. It demanded more than a one-line reply. She thought of her grandmother singing in the kitchen, of a sunset she'd watched alone on a train, of the journaling she kept but rarely read. She thought of the small defiant things that made life feel less like a checklist and more like a secret garden. "I'd want to remember courage," she typed finally. "Not the loud kind, the silent kind of wrong but true kind. The courage to start again. The courage to speak without waiting for permission." A silence followed. She imagined him reading the message, the way his face would look as those words landed. After a few minutes, a reply. "That's honest. Courage has a way of changing how the rest looks." She felt seen, not in the cheap way of flattery but in the way a mirror can reflect scars you had forgotten you carried. It was addictive. It was also oddly educational. She was learning how to breathe with someone else's presence in the room. Their conversations were not just about filling the quiet. They probed gently, like fingers testing the soil for roots. He asked about her friendships, the things she regretted, the small rituals she performed before interviews. He admitted his vulnerabilities in pieces, a slice of fear here, a confession there, enough to be human, enough to be lovable. He was careful with his edges, showing them only when the light felt right. On a rainy Thursday, he asked if she wanted to come to a poetry night he frequented. She almost said yes immediately, the careful adult part of her outraged by the reckless, pleasant part that imagined his hand in the dark of a crowded room. Instead she said, maybe, because she wanted to savor the decision. That night, as she lay awake thinking of ordinary things, a patch of sunlight caught on her desk, the way her mother hummed when she cooked. She realized she was giving herself permission to feel again. There was a subtle reclaiming of self that came with being seen without being fixed. Felt like a small blossoming. But underneath that bloom there was a pulsing thread of unease she couldn't name. It wasn't a scream so much as a tiny cough in the back of the throat, something that would become louder if ignored. She tucked the feeling away, promising herself she would notice it later, like promising to water a plant tomorrow. But underneath that bloom there was a pulsing thread of unease she couldn't name. It wasn't a scream so much as a tiny cough in the back of the throat, something that would become louder if ignored. She tucked the feeling away, promising herself she would notice it later, like promising to water a plant tomorrow. For now, she allowed the present to be generous. He was interesting, attentive, unpredictable in the best ways. He didn't demand. He didn't overwhelm. He existed in the margins and in the lines, and slowly, He became a punctuation in her days, a comma that kept returning between sentences. Their chemistry, if she had to name it, felt like a late-night playlist you looped on repeat. Melancholic, beautifully uncertain, and impossible to stop. Each message reinforced the growing idea that perhaps this would be different. That hope, like a visiting bird, perched in her chest and sang. What she didn't know was that the thing that hooked her like bait, the very quality she adored, was also the thing that would test her in ways she hadn't yet learned to anticipate. The attentiveness, the mystery, the pauses that left room for wonder. Those were the same currents that could pull her off balance when the tide turned. For the moment, though, the tide was gentle. She replied to his last message before sleep took her. "Tell me the worst thing you've ever done." He wrote back almost instantly. "Stayed when I should have left." She read the line twice. Fit like a key in an old lock. She felt the weight of it, the shadow and the warning wrapped in a confession. Then she smiled and typed, without thinking too hard about consequences. "Then maybe this time, try leaving when you should stay." And when the reply came, "Maybe I will," she believed him. Chapter 3, Love Bombing begins. When Arif stepped into Ria's life properly, it felt like someone had opened all the windows in a stuffy room. The air moved differently around him. Conversations were brighter, colors sharpened, and the ordinary minutes between work and sleep suddenly hummed with possibility. He began with small, precise things that cut through the monotony the way a knife through silk. Mornings brought messages that were more than polite check-ins. A photo of a chai stall he'd walked past because it reminded him of the way she crinkled her nose at cardamom. A voice note that started with a line from a poem she'd once half-quoted. A playlist he built for her titled, "For the Quiet Days." He remembered tiny details and returned them to her like gifts. The name of her childhood teacher, the exact brand of balsamic she preferred, the way she tucked the blanket under her chin when she read. Dates were cinematic without being ostentatious. He took her to a small independent cinema for a late show, where they sat crookedly, sharing popcorn and the kind of warmth that felt like a secret. He arranged a picnic on a terrace he'd borrowed from a friend, complete with fairy lights and a stack of her favorite biscuits. On one rainy evening he turned up at her door with a towel and a grin she couldn't refuse, and they cooked something improvised and glorious in her tiny kitchen while thunder stitched the sky. The attention was intoxicating precisely because it arrived wrapped in thoughtfulness. It wasn't a flashy, over-the-top parade of gifts. It was the kind of constant, considerate presence that made her believe, for the first time in a long time, that someone was choosing her again and again. He was steady in public and private. Texts when she was on lunch breaks, long calls when she was editing late-night reels, little notes tucked into her bag like paper butterflies. Her friends noticed the change first. "He's obsessed," Anaya teased one night, but there was no bite to it. Only a curious, borderline envy. In a good way. Even her mother remarked on the bloom in Ria's cheeks during a video call. "You look happier, child." Ria liked the bloom. She liked that someone had retuned the radio in her head to a frequency she'd forgotten existed. Arif introduced her to people slowly, like chapters in a book rather than headlines. He brought her to his rooftop garden where he talked about planting perennials because they forgive you. He introduced her to a coworker as someone who could read a whole life in a single cup of coffee, and when she met his brother for the first time, Arif's smile thinned in a way that made her understand history without words. He showed vulnerability in measured doses. Stories of a father who'd left without a forwarding address, a job he'd quit halfway through because fear of never trying outweighed fear of failure. Those confessions held him open, human in the middle of perfection. Everything about him conspired to make her believe she was exactly what he wanted. He made plans, small, sensible, and intimate, and he followed through. He claimed a weekend and showed up with tickets to a pottery class because she'd said once, during a lull, that she wished she could make usable things. He did not just hear her. He acted on the things she had dismissed as offhand. He remembered the song she liked in college and cued it on an unexpected drive. He sat with her when she cried over an editing project that went wrong and didn't try to fix it. He simply handed her tissues and hummed the right steady notes. Yet the very perfection of his attention carried the first, almost invisible seam of trouble. His attentiveness wasn't just sweet, it was engineered, as if someone had studied every way to make a heart land and planted those instruments carefully on her chest. When she mentioned a vague worry, a client's criticism, a cancelled plan, he would disappear briefly and return with solutions, apologies, promises. He was a fixer, and she reveled in being fixed. There were hours when the adoration spilled into excess. He texted at dawn and checked in at midnight. He called just to say he was thinking of her. On a Wednesday, she found her phone full of pictures he'd taken of things that reminded him of her. The curve of a bench, a stray cat asleep like a comma on a ledge, the inside of a bakery with flour dusting the window like snow. "I collect you," he wrote in a message she saved and read more than once. The love bombing made her brain do gymnastics. She would catch herself replaying moments and over-assigning meaning to them. The way he paused before saying, "I like you." The particular inflection when he called her name. Light details became archetypes. She felt glow and gratitude and the sort of anxious hope that felt like weightless flying. Still, every halo has a shadow. When she raised small objections, a cancelled plan, a curt reply that felt like indifference, his response was immediate and sweeping. He would apologize with a fervor that could have persuaded the moon to change course. "I never want to hurt you," he'd say, eyes glossy and earnest. "If I could, I would go back and choose differently." He learned the right things to say quickly, and the speed of those learned apologies made the hurt feel like a flinch, easily soothed. After 3 weeks of this orbit, one particular evening landed like a warning she misread as a meteor. They had an argument about something trivial, the timing of a visit, trimmed down to a sentence that might have been about anything. He texted her later that night, almost pleading, "If you leave, I'll lose you. I can't do that." The message that followed was a string of confessions and promises so intense she felt dizzy reading it. He wrote about how he feared abandonment, how past losses had shaped him, how he recognized in her the person who anchored him. He promised to be better, to be present, to never leave. She read the words and felt a bruise lift. The combination of his vulnerability and his vow turned the annoyance into sympathy, then into renewed affection. She forgave him quickly, sometimes before she even acknowledged she'd been hurt. In the morning, when sunlight threaded through her blinds, she told herself she had found someone who would never let her feel alone again. The love he lavished seemed to prove it. He planned for futures in 5-minute increments. A concert next month, a dinner with friends they both liked, the weekend they would finally try that pottery class. Each plan reinforced the story she was telling herself, that this was different, that he was different. What she didn't see clearly yet was how the intensity, the constant presence, and the perfection would eventually become a cudgel. The same attention that poured into her like honey could be withheld like a punishment. The apologies that bled transparency today might become a pattern so smooth she would stop noticing the sharpness hidden within. For now, though, there was only the bloom, and she, like every human drawn to warmth, stepped closer to the flame. Chapter 4. The sudden shift. It happened on a Thursday, the kind of Thursday that should have been ordinary, forgettable, a line in a calendar with no story attached. But shifts never arrive with announcements. They arrive quietly, like a temperature drop you don't notice until you're shivering. Ria woke up to silence. No "good morning, sleepyhead." No voice note with his half-awake laugh. No picture of his rooftop garden catching the early sun. Just nothing. At first, she didn't overthink it. People get busy. Phones die. Meetings run long. But as the hours slipped by, her thoughts began to gather in corners, forming shadows where certainty used to sit. She texted him at 10:14 a.m. "Are you busy today?" No reply. By lunchtime she checked her phone so many times it felt like a nervous tick. She told herself to eat, but the food tasted like wet paper. She scrolled through their old chat, the dozens of voice notes, the messages that felt like warm hands cupping her face. How could someone go from flooding her world to evaporating in a matter of hours? At 3 p.m., she sent another message. "Everything okay?" Showed delivered. Not read. She waited. At 7:36 p.m., her phone finally buzzed. Not with a message, but with a 3-second voice note. She played it. Arif's voice sounded off. Like someone had drained the color from him. "Hey. Just not feeling like talking today." That was it. No warmth. No explanation. No softness. Just distance, cold, quiet, and abrupt. She typed instantly. "Did I do something?" The message delivered. He opened it. He didn't reply. Hours passed. At midnight, she lay curled on her bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling that familiar burn behind her eyes. Not because he was gone, but because she didn't understand why. There was no fight, no trigger, no reason. Just a switch flipped somewhere inside him, turning warmth into winter. She remembered the first red flag, the way he'd walked away in the cafe with that effortless detachment. Back then she thought it was charm. Now she knew it was something else. Pattern. Still she justified it. She always did. Maybe he's stressed. Maybe something happened with his brother. Maybe he needs space. Maybe I'm overreacting. That last thought was her most familiar enemy. She fought it like a reflex. The next morning she waited again. And again. And again. At noon he finally texted. "Sorry. Been off. Needed some time." Just that. No explanation. No acknowledgement of how his silence might have hurt her. No softness to soften the bruise. And yet, she felt relief flooding her veins like warm water. He wasn't gone. He hadn't left. He was still here, even if only by a thread. She typed back. "It's okay. Just let me know next time." To which he replied with the sharpest, most casual cruelty a person can deliver without sounding cruel. "Yeah, I'll try. I'll try." The phrase that meant nothing. The promise that held no shape. Later that evening when he finally called, his voice was normal again. Like, warm. As if nothing had happened. As if she hadn't spent a day drowning in uncertainty. He didn't apologize. He didn't explain. He just talked about mundane things, traffic, work, a new cafe opening near his office. And Ria. She matched his tone. She pretended everything was fine. She pushed her discomfort under a rug woven from hope and fear. Because losing him, she realized, scared her more than being confused by him. It was the first time she felt the shift. The first time she noticed the imbalance. The first time she realized how easily he could withdraw love. And how quickly he expected her to accept it. She told herself it was a one-time thing. It wasn't. It was the beginning. The first fracture in a story that looked like love from the outside, but felt like walking barefoot on broken glass whenever the lights turned off. Chapter 5: The Pull-Push Cycle. The next few weeks felt like standing on a moving floor, sometimes steady, sometimes tilting beneath her feet without warning. Arif had returned to his warm self after that silent day, but something had cracked. Thin line. Small fracture. The kind that doesn't break the glass immediately. Just waits. His behavior became a rhythm she didn't notice at first. A rhythm that would shape her entire emotional landscape. Push, pull, push, pull. It began subtly. One day he was all warmth, texting her good morning before the sun even rose, sending her pictures of his breakfast like she was already part of his routine. He'd talk about seeing her on the weekend, he'd flirt. He'd say things that wrapped around her like arms. "You're the only one I talk to like this." The next day. Not completely, just enough to keep her unsure. Messages became short. Calls went unanswered. He'd reply hours later with a single word. Busy. Or later. He wasn't rude. But he wasn't present. He hovered somewhere in the middle. Just close enough that she wouldn't leave. Just far enough that she couldn't breathe fully. Whenever she got upset, he'd swing back with that practiced tenderness. "You're overthinking. I didn't know you needed me to reply fast. Why are you so emotional about everything?" Words that weren't cruel, but sharp enough to bruise. The strange thing was, she believed him. He spoke with such calm certainty that she started doubting her own feelings. Maybe she was overthinking. Maybe she was too emotional. Maybe she did expect too much. After all, he loved her, didn't he? He showed it, sometimes beautifully. Some nights were pure magic. He'd show up with her favorite brownies. They'd sit on the rooftop, him leaning back on his elbows, her head resting on his shoulder, the city buzzing beneath them like electricity. He'd say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel safe with you. You're different, Rhea. Don't leave me, okay?" And just like that, every doubt she had dissolved. But then morning came, and he'd turn cold again. Distant, distracted, unreachable. She wanted to ask what changed. She wanted to confront him. But every time she tried, he'd do something so sweet, so thoughtful, so disarming, that her heart would fold. Once, he turned up at her place at midnight with a messy bouquet of jasmine because he just wanted to see her face. Another time, he sent her a 4-minute voice note describing everything he liked about her. The way she held her coffee cup, the way she laughed with her eyes, the way she softened around children. Then, 2 days later, he wouldn't reply for almost the entire day. This inconsistency hooked her deeper than consistency ever could. It created addiction, dopamine spikes wrapped in uncertainty. She waited for his warmth the way people wait for rain in long summers. And when the rain came, she forgot the heat completely. The push-pull molded her slowly, subtly. She checked her phone constantly. She felt relief instead of excitement when he messaged. She stopped bringing up her feelings because it made things worse. She became scared of losing him, even though he was never fully hers. One evening, when he didn't reply for hours, she typed out a message. "It hurts when you disappear like that." She hovered over the send button. Her chest tightened. Her fingers trembled. She deleted it. Instead, she sent, "Hope your day was okay." He replied instantly, "Better now that you texted." And just like that, she forgave him again. Later that night, when she lay on her bed scrolling through their chat, she realized something terrifying. She was starting to measure her own worth by how often he pulled, and how badly it hurt when he pushed. The cycle had begun, and it was only getting deeper. Chapter 6, Her First Breakdown. The breakdown didn't arrive like a storm. It arrived like a leak, slow, steady, unnoticed, until suddenly everything was drowning. It began on a Sunday. They were supposed to meet at her favorite cafe at 6 p.m., a place she had chosen specifically because he once said he loved the lemon tarts there. She dressed early, curled her hair, even wore the bracelet he had complimented the day they met. She felt soft, hopeful, stupidly excited. At 5:42 p.m., her phone buzzed. "Arif. Hey, might be late." Something came up. Not unusual. Not awful. She told herself it was fine. At 6:30, he still hadn't arrived. No message. No call. At 7:05, she ordered water because the waiter gave her an apologetic smile she couldn't stand. At 7:43, she finally texted, "Are you still coming?" Delivered. Read. No reply. The water in her glass tasted metallic. The lights of the cafe blurred. Her heart sank with a heaviness that felt older than her age. At 8:15 p.m., she stood up and walked out, feeling like she was leaving behind not just a table, but a version of herself who still believed he would show up. She went home, changed into her pajamas, wiped off her makeup with shaking hands, and sat on her bed in complete silence. Her phone remained a blank screen. At 9:30 p.m. she broke. Not loudly, not theatrically. She just folded. Her chest tightened first, as if someone had slipped a hand inside and squeezed. Her throat burned. Her eyes stung. Then the tears came, slow, confused, heavy tears that felt like they belonged to someone else. She kept whispering to herself, "Why am I like this? Why does this hurt so much? Why can't I just walk away?" Her crying wasn't just about him not showing up. It was about everything she had swallowed for weeks. Every ignored message, every shift in tone, every time she blamed herself for feeling hurt, every night she convinced herself she was asking for too much when all she wanted was consistency. Somewhere between sobs, she opened her phone again. Still nothing from him. And that was when the thought hit her. A sharp, unwanted truth. She was in a relationship that didn't exist. And yet it controlled her more than any real relationship ever had. By 11 p.m., her eyes were swollen, mascara smudged on her pillow. She tried breathing exercises. She tried distracting herself. Nothing worked. At 12:09 a.m., her phone finally vibrated. Arif. Sorry. Got caught up. Talk tomorrow. That was it. No explanation. No apology that matched the pain. No regret. Just casual dismissal. She stared at the message, a dull ache spreading through her bones. For the first time, the pull didn't immediately soothe the push. She typed, "Okay." And then she turned off her phone, put it face down on her bedside table, closed her eyes. But sleep never came. An hour later, she broke down all over again, quieter this time but deeper. It was the kind of crying that didn't need sound to make noise. The kind that rewrites something inside you. She realized something important that night. Something she didn't want to admit. She wasn't crying because he didn't show up. She was crying because she had stopped showing up for herself. This was her first breakdown. Not because of him, but because of what she was becoming for him. And she didn't know it yet, but this night of swollen eyes and unanswered questions was only the beginning of the grief she would experience while staying with someone who kept disappearing. Chapter 7. The apology that meant nothing. The next morning, Ria woke up with a headache that felt like a bruise on the inside of her skull. Her pillow was still damp. Her throat felt scraped raw. Her chest felt empty. For a moment she forgot why. Then her phone lit up. Arif. Her stomach flipped, not with excitement, but with a sickening mix of hope and fear. She hated that she still hoped. The message came at 9:12 a.m. Last night was rough. I'm sorry. Just that. 2 lines. No details. No real explanation. No recognition of how she sat alone in a cafe for almost 2 hours waiting for him. Still her chest loosened. That's how addiction works. Even crumbs feel like meals. She typed nothing. Not yet. Him again. I didn't mean to hurt you. Her eyes burned. She wanted to scream. Then why do you keep doing it? Instead, she stared at the typing dots as he continued. I had some stuff to deal with. I should have told you. I'm really sorry, Ria. There it was. Tone. Warm. Remorseful enough to sound sincere, but vague enough to hide the truth. She replied, You could have just told me. Arif called immediately. The moment she heard his voice, low, apologetic, perfectly timed, something inside her melted. He knew exactly how to speak when she was hurting. Ria, you know I care about you, right? He said, breath heavy like he'd been running. She didn't answer. I messed up, he continued. You didn't deserve that. You should have gone home earlier. I didn't want you waiting. It wasn't a real apology. It was a blame disguised as concern. But she didn't see it. Not clearly. She whispered, You scared me. It slipped out before she could stop it. He sighed softly. The kind of sigh that sounds like guilt but is really manipulation. I know, he said. I'll make it up to you. I promise. Promises from him felt like warm blankets. Soft, comforting, and completely unreliable. Before she could respond, he added, Can I come over tonight? That's how he worked. He always offered closeness when she was hurting, not to fix the pain, but to make her forget it. And she almost said yes. Almost. But something inside her, tiny, bruised, tired, made her pause. I don't know, she said quietly. He fell silent. A kind of silence that wasn't still. A silence that pressed on her, demanded something. Are you punishing me? He said finally. The words hit her like cold water. What? No, she whispered, confused. It feels like you are, he said, voice slightly harder now. I said I'm sorry. What else do you want? There it was. A shift. The subtle turn from guilty to irritated. From apologetic to defensive. Her heart thudded painfully. She hated conflict. He knew that. "I'm not punishing you," she murmured. "I just—" He cut her off gently. Too gently. "Then let me make it up to you. Don't overthink this, okay?" His voice softened again, almost affectionate. "I want to see you. Isn't that enough?" And in that moment felt like love, felt like effort, felt like him choosing her. By evening, he showed up with her favorite chocolate pastry, a stupid, goofy smile, and eyes that pretended nothing had happened. He hugged her like she was the only thing that made sense in his world. She hugged him back like he was the only thing keeping her from falling apart. They watched a movie. He kissed her forehead. He held her hand like it meant something. He kept touching her hair, her cheek, her wrist, as if reassuring himself she was still his. By the end of the night, she felt lighter, not because the pain was gone, but because he had covered it with affection so thick it suffocated the hurt. That's how toxic love works. It paints over the cracks, never fixing them. As he left, he said, "I'm really trying, Rhea." But she didn't see the truth yet. He wasn't trying to change. He was trying to keep her. And his apologies weren't bridges. They were chains disguised as flowers. Chapter 8. The night she stayed awake. Some nights don't announce themselves as important. They don't arrive with storms or heartbreaks or confrontations. They arrive quietly, in the slow creaking of a fan, in the faint glow of a phone screen, in the silence between two heartbeats. This night was one of those. Started normally. Arif had left 2 hours ago after their makeup evening. The kisses, the forehead touches, the soft eyes, all layered over the bruise he caused. Rhea washed the pastry plates, wiped the counter, folded the blanket he'd used. Her body moved automatically, but her mind was somewhere else entirely. In the quiet of her room, she felt a strange heaviness, a feeling she didn't have words for yet. Something between sadness and fear, between love and exhaustion. She sat on her bed, hugging her knees. The moonlight spilled across the floor in thin silver lines. And without meaning to, she whispered, "I don't trust him." The words startled her. Not because they were harsh, but because they were true. Her brain had known it for a while. Her heart was only now catching up. She reopened their chat, scrolling through thousands of words, thousands of promises, thousands of moments that felt like they should have meant something. And suddenly she saw patterns she had blinded herself to. She saw his warm messages followed by cold silences, his future plans followed by last-minute cancellations, his apologies followed by the exact same behavior, his caring tone followed by emotional withdrawal, his tenderness used like a bandage to cover wounds he created. She stared at her phone as if it were telling her a story she had been too scared to read. At 1:20 a.m., a thought hit her. Why am I giving him so much power? He wasn't her boyfriend. He wasn't her partner. He wasn't someone who had earned her vulnerability. Yet he held her. Tightly, loosely, tightly again. Pulling her like the tide. Leaving her stranded on emotional shorelines. She lay down trying to sleep. Her eyes closed, but her mind didn't stop. She replayed every moment from the evening. The way he kissed her forehead. The way he held her too tightly. The way he avoided saying where he had been. The way he smiled just a little too deliberately. The way he made her guilt feel like overreaction. And then the thought she'd been avoiding. If he cared, why did he leave me waiting alone? Her throat tightened. She turned to her side. Turned back. Pulled the blanket. Pushed it away. Her body was still. Her mind was a storm. At 2:07 a.m., she opened her notes app and started typing. Why does he disappear? Why do I forgive so easily? Why do I feel small with him sometimes? Why am I scared of losing someone who isn't mine? Why does this feel like love and pain at the same time? She stopped at the last line and stared at it. Love and pain. She was confusing them. He was making her confuse them. At 3:40 a.m., she realized something terrifying. She was adapting to his inconsistency, bending around his moods, shrinking her needs, silencing her feelings, changing herself to keep him. She wasn't falling in love. She was falling into a pattern she had seen in stories, in movies, in friends' lives, but never thought would touch her. A pattern of attachment through uncertainty, affection through scarcity, love through fear. Her eyes burned, but she didn't cry. She just stayed awake, thinking, hurting, understanding, not ready to leave but no longer blind. By dawn, her pillow was untouched by tears. But her heart felt heavier than after any breakdown, because crying is pain leaving the body. But silent realizations, they linger, they change you. And Rhea knew, even if she wouldn't admit it yet, that something had shifted. Not in Arif. He was the same. Something had shifted in her. And once a person starts seeing clearly, the dark can never hide itself the same way again. Chapter 9, The Other Girl. The truth rarely enters like a scream. It enters like a whisper you try to ignore, until it grows teeth. For Rhea, the whisper arrived on a random Wednesday afternoon. She wasn't looking for anything. She wasn't suspicious. She was just scrolling Instagram during her break when she saw it. Arif's story. A simple boomerang. A glass clinking against another glass at a dim-lit bar. Jazz music. Umber lights. Nothing strange. Something caught her eye. A blurred reflection on the glass behind him. Long hair, rings on the fingers, a wine-red sweater sleeve. Woman. Her heart paused, then thudded painfully in her chest, like it had missed a step and fallen down a flight of stairs. She zoomed in. It didn't help. It wasn't clear. But it wasn't nothing. She took a breath. Told herself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe a coworker. Maybe a friend. Maybe a cousin. Maybe. Her phone buzzed. A message from Arif. Where are you? Not how are you? Not what are you doing? Not miss you. Just monitoring. Just checking. She replied normally, her hands slightly shaking. On break. You. Arif answered instantly. Busy. Talk later. Busy. 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 The same excuse he'd used countless times. But now, with that image burned into her mind, the word felt heavier. After work, she met her best friend Anaya for chai. She tried to sound casual when she said, I think Arif was with someone today. Anaya raised an eyebrow. What makes you think that? Rhea showed her the story. Anaya's face changed. Not shocked, not dramatic. Just unsurprised. That's a woman, she said calmly. Rhea felt her stomach twist. So you think? I think you should ask him, Anaya said. But even she didn't sound hopeful. Rhea went home that evening, heart thumping with a sick mix of dread and denial. She opened WhatsApp. Their chat stared back at her. All those hearts, long messages, soft words. Now suddenly feeling brittle. She typed, Hey, who were you with today? I saw your story. Her finger hovered for a full minute before she pressed send. Delivered. Read. No reply. Oh. She answered immediately. Arif. His voice was sharp. Too sharp. Why are you checking my stories? He asked. As if she'd committed a crime. She blinked stunned. What? You posted it. I just saw it. And you assumed I was with someone? His tone was ice cold. Controlled. Defensive in a way that felt practiced. I didn't assume anything, she said softly. I just asked. He exhaled loudly, the kind of annoyed exhale that made her shrink. You need to stop overthinking, he said. There's no girl. It was just someone from work. Not important. The phrase stung. Not important. But why didn't you tell me you were out? She asked, voice trembling slightly despite her best attempts. Do I have to report everything to you? His tone sharpened further. I was having a bad day. I went for a drink. That's it. Why are you making this a thing? Rhea felt herself folding inward. I wasn't making it a thing, she whispered. I just felt confused. Silence crackled on the line. Cold. Heavy. Finally he said, "Look, I don't have the energy for drama today. Can we just drop this? Drama. Drama. Drama." The word echoed in her chest like a stone hitting the floor. He always used that word when she asked anything real. Anything that made him uncomfortable. Anything that required accountability. She swallowed, throat tight. "Okay," she whispered. "Good," he said shortly. "I'll talk to you tomorrow." He hung up without waiting for her response. Rhea sat on her bed, staring at the wall, her heart thudding like a warning drum. But the real pain didn't come from the possibility of another girl. The real pain came from realizing something devastatingly clear. He didn't care that she was hurt. He only cared that she questioned him. That night she didn't cry. Not because she wasn't hurt, but because she was finally going numb. And numbness is always the beginning of a breaking point. Chapter 10. Emotional attachment deepens. If the human heart were logical, Rhea would have walked away after that call. Any rational person would have. But attachment doesn't grow in logic. It grows in the places where you feel seen, where you feel wanted, where someone has touched your wounds and told you they understand. Arif had done all of that. And so, despite everything, despite the story with the other girl, despite the defensiveness, despite the way he flipped the blame, she stayed. Not because she was weak, but because he had made her believe that losing him would be worse than losing herself. The next morning, the sun barely up, her phone buzzed. "Arif, didn't sleep last night. I'm sorry for snapping." Rhea stared at the message, her chest tightening. Just hours ago he was cold, and now he was soft again. She typed slowly, "It's fine." But he wasn't satisfied. "No, it's not. I hate hurting you. I should have explained better. I care about you more than you think." Each message felt like balm on a wound he had created. By noon, he sent a long paragraph. "You matter to me, Rhea. Yesterday I messed up. Not because of you, because I get overwhelmed sometimes. I never want to lose you. Please don't doubt what we have." The ache in her chest dissolved. Not because the message fixed anything, but because it felt good to be wanted again. That was the pull. The sweet, addictive pull that made the push feel like her fault. He called her that evening. His voice was gentle, warm, familiar. "Can we meet?" he asked. And of course she said yes. They met at a quiet cafe. He hugged her like she was air after drowning, hands gripping her waist as if anchoring himself. He looked into her eyes, and he knew exactly what she needed to hear. "I wasn't with another girl," he said firmly. "I promise. I should have been clearer. You deserve that." The firmness, the eye contact, the reassurance, it all felt real. That's how manipulators work. When they tell the truth, it's convincing. When they lie, it's even more convincing. Rhea nodded slowly, her mind still cautious, but her heart already softening. He reached across the table and held her hand. "I'm trying, okay? I know I'm not perfect, but I don't want to mess this up." Mess what up? They weren't even officially dating. But when he said it, felt like a promise of something real. He leaned over and kissed her forehead gently. Warm, almost sacred. Her breath shivered. After that day, something subtle shifted in Rhea. Not outwardly, inside. She started measuring her day based on how much attention he gave her. If he texted a lot, her day felt whole. If he replied slowly, she felt anxious. If he didn't reply, she spiraled. If he called first, she felt chosen. If he didn't call, she felt rejected. Her emotions became puppets, hanging from strings he never admitted he was holding. She didn't notice when she started canceling plans with friends, checking her phone every few minutes, rereading his old messages for reassurance, awaiting for his name to pop up on the screen. Is sleeping late just in case he called. forgiving him too quickly, adjusting her tone to avoid upsetting him, shrinking her needs so she wouldn't look emotional. This wasn't love. This was emotional dependency. Quiet, poisonous, powerful. But the worst part, she didn't even see it happening. Because Arif wasn't always cold. He wasn't always distant. He wasn't always defensive. He was also thoughtful, tender, funny, romantic, charming, attentive. He knew how to hold her, just the right way. He knew how to say just the right words. He knew how to show up, just at the right time. Enough to keep her. Not enough to keep her safe. One night, he sent her a message that sealed her attachment. I've never felt this connected to anyone before. Don't ever leave me. The sentence felt like a key, unlocking something deep inside her. A sentence she had always wanted to hear. She replied, I'm not going anywhere. Felt like love when she typed it. Felt like surrender when she reread it later. Chapter 11. His worst behavior yet. The breaking point didn't arrive like thunder. It arrived in the shape of a moment so small that most people would have missed it entirely. But for Ria, it cracked something inside her. Something she didn't know could break any further. It happened on a Saturday night. They were at Arif's friend's apartment for a small gathering. Soft music, dim lights, glasses clinking, people laughing about things that didn't matter. Ria wasn't very social that evening. Her week had been exhausting. Clients had been demanding. And her mind still felt bruised from the recent drama. But she went. Because Arif insisted. You never go out with me, he'd said earlier. You always cancel last minute. Not true. She cancelled only when he went cold on her. So she forced herself to show up. First it was fine. Arif held her waist, introduced her to everyone, kept his hand on her back in that protective, possessive way. Felt nice. Then, somewhere between the third joke and second drink, something shifted. Arif's friend Arjun brought up a story. A silly, harmless memory of Arif's dating past. A girl who used to write him poems. A girl who waited for him after classes. A girl who, according to Arjun, was madly obsessed with him. The room laughed. Even Arif chuckled. But something in the story stung Ria. Not the girl. Not the joke. But the familiarity of it. Of women who gave too much. And got too little. She looked at Arif instinctively. As if searching his face. For a hint of recognition. That the pattern was repeating. He noticed the look. And in that moment, his smile vanished. He leaned toward her and whispered. Sharp enough to cut her. Don't give me that face. She blinked. What face? Don't start, he muttered, jaw tightening. I didn't say anything. Exactly. That look is the problem. His tone was low, angry. As if she had insulted him publicly. When all she did was breathe. Ria's chest tightened. The room suddenly felt too loud. Arif, she whispered. I was just listening. He cut her off with a cold laugh. Cold, detached sound. Meant only for her ears. See, this is why I don't bring you places. You always act clingy. The word hit her like a slap. Her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Did anyone hear? Did anyone notice? Was she imagining the shift in his tone? She stepped back slightly, whispering, I'm not clingy. I just... He raised his glass in the air, forcing a smile to rejoin the group, and said loudly, She's emotional tonight. Ignore her. The room chuckled politely. Ria's heart shattered quietly. She felt herself shrink. Her throat tighten. Her eyes burn. She wanted to leave. But she also didn't want to seem dramatic. Exactly the trap people like him set. Minutes felt like hours as she forced a smile. And pretended everything was normal. When they finally stepped outside. The cold air hit her lungs like ice. She tried to address it calmly. Arif, why did you talk to me like that inside? He shrugged, unlocking his bike. You were being weird. Looking at me like I did something wrong. You humiliated me, she whispered. I didn't deserve that. He rolled his eyes. Here we go with the emotions again. Her stomach twisted. How can you say that? I just wanted to talk. You always want to talk, he snapped. Talk. About every little thing. It gets exhausting. She felt tears filling her eyes. I wasn't attacking you, she whispered. I just felt hurt. And I felt suffocated, he shot back. The words sliced through her like glass. Suffocated. By her. The girl who apologized for things she didn't do. Who shrank herself to fit his moods. Who carried the emotional weight of two people. Just to keep the peace. He continued. And this was the worst part. You really need to control your reactions, Rhea. No guy wants a girl who's always sensitive. Her breath left her body. It was cruel. It was unnecessary. It was humiliating. And he knew it. In the silence that followed, the city noise faded. Even the streetlights looked dimmer. Arif didn't comfort her. Didn't apologize. Didn't reach for her hand. He just said flat and final. Let's not drag this. I'm tired. They rode home in silence. And the whole way, she felt something inside her sinking. A heavy, sick feeling that didn't let her breathe. But the worst part, a tiny voice inside her still whispered. He didn't mean it. He was just stressed. Maybe you were too sensitive. Because that is what emotional manipulation does. Makes you question yourself. Even when someone is breaking you. Right in front of your own eyes. Chapter 12. She breaks down in front of her friend. Rhea didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed with her eyes wide open. Arif's words spiraling in her head like a swarm of bees. Clingy. Emotional. Suffocating. He had said those words so casually. As if they were facts. And not knives. Her pillow was damp again by morning. But this time the tears were quiet. The quiet kind that come from humiliation. Not heartbreak. By afternoon her chest felt so tight. She could barely breathe. That's when she messaged Anaya. Can you come over? No explanation. No emojis. Just a call for help she didn't know how to phrase. Within 30 minutes. Anaya was at her door. The moment Rhea opened it. Anaya's face shifted. Rhea, what happened? Rhea didn't answer. Her lip trembled once. Just once. Before she burst into tears so violently. That even she didn't expect it. It wasn't gentle crying. It was the kind that knocked the air out of her. The kind that had been stuck inside for weeks. Waiting for a safe place to escape. Anaya pulled her into her arms. Hey, breathe. I'm here. Rhea clung to her like a child. Shaking so hard her knees almost buckled. They sat on the couch. Rhea curled up with a cushion pressed to her chest. Anaya holding her hand like it was the only thing. Keeping her from falling apart completely. After a long time. When the worst of the sobbing passed. Anaya spoke gently. Tell me everything. Rhea hesitated. Not because she didn't trust Anaya. But because saying the truth aloud. Made it real. She took a shaky breath. It's Arif, she whispered. He talked to me last night like I was nothing. What did he say? Rhea repeated the exact words. Voice breaking with each one. Don't start. You always act clingy. She's emotional tonight, ignore her. You make everything drama. No guy wants a sensitive girl. I felt suffocated. The more she spoke, the more her face crumpled. Anaya's eyes darkened with something between anger and heartbreak. Rhea, she said softly. That isn't love. That's humiliation. Rhea wiped her nose with the back of her hand. I know it was wrong. But he apologized after we got home. He said he was tired. He said I misread the situation. He said, Stop. Anaya cut in gently. What do you think, Rhea? Not him. You. Rhea swallowed hard. What did she think? That she was losing control. that she was losing herself, that she was becoming a version of her she didn't recognize anymore. She whispered, I think he doesn't like me. He just likes how I make him feel. Anaya nodded slowly, softening. That sounds a lot like the truth. Ria hugged the cushion tighter. And I feel small, like I have to tiptoe around him. Like everything I say will irritate him. Like I'm a burden. Anaya squeezed her hand. Because he's making you feel that way. Not because you are that way. The words hit her chest like a warm weight. Ria had never said this aloud. Not even to herself. I've never liked myself this little before. That sentence broke her again. This time quietly. Like a paper tearing from the inside. Anaya pulled her in. Stroking her hair like a mother would a child. Listen to me, she whispered firmly. You are not clingy. You are not suffocating. You are not dramatic. You are hurt. Tears slipped out again. Ria didn't try to hide them this time. And he knows exactly how to twist your feelings. Anaya continued. He knows which words hurt you. He uses that. People like him. They punish you for having emotions. And reward you only when you shrink. Ria shivered at how perfectly that described the last month. And the worst part. Anaya added softly. They make you think it's your fault. Ria covered her mouth with her hand. As if trying to stop another wave of sobbing. It's not your fault, Anaya repeated. You just love deeply. And he loves convenience. That hit hard. Too hard. Ria whispered. But I don't want to lose him. Anaya looked at her with heartbreak in her eyes. Baby, she said quietly. You're already losing yourself. Silence filled the room. Heavy, truthful, unavoidable. Ria cried again. But this time it wasn't humiliation. It wasn't confusion. It was grief. Grief for the girl she had been. Before Arif's coldness started rewriting her. But somewhere inside that grief, something else flickered. Small, fragile spark. A spark of self-awareness. Spark of truth. A spark of the old Ria. Trying to push her way back. It wasn't enough to leave him yet. Not yet. But for the first time, she saw the gap between who she was and who she was becoming. And realizations like that, they always lead somewhere, even if the journey is painful. Chapter 13, The Last Attempt to Fix Things. The next morning, Ria woke up with swollen eyes and a strange determination sitting in her chest. The kind that comes after crying so much. Your body gets tired of breaking. She wasn't ready to leave him, but she was ready to try. Try to talk. Try to communicate. Try to fix the cracks before they turned into fractures. She wasn't asking for much. Just honesty. Just respect. Just the bare minimum of emotional consistency. By afternoon, she typed a message she read at least 12 times. Can we talk today? Properly. I don't want to fight. I just want to understand. She stared at it, deleted it, rewrote it, finally pressed send. Arif replied 10 minutes later. About what? The dismissiveness stung. Still she pushed past it. Last night. And other things. He replied after a long pause. I'm not in the mood for heavy conversations. Her stomach twisted. But she didn't back down this time. It's important, Arif. He finally agreed. Fine. Come over. Not, okay baby. Not, we'll figure it out. Not, I'm here for you. Just fine. She spent the next hour pacing her room. Rehearsing sentences. Telling herself she would stay calm. Even if he didn't. When she arrived, Arif opened the door with the same neutral expression. He always wore when he didn't feel like being emotional. He didn't hug her. Didn't smile. Just said, sit. Her heart sank. She sat on the edge of his couch. He stood by the window, arms folded. As if preparing for a lecture instead of a conversation. Ria took a deep breath. Arif, you hurt me last night. He didn't even blink. How? You said I made you suffocated. Her voice shook slightly, but she held herself together. He exhaled sharply, like she was being dramatic. Ria, I told you I was stressed. You overreacted. You always do. I didn't overreact, she whispered. I was embarrassed. In front of your friends. I wasn't even doing anything. He cut her off, raising his hand. There it is. You're making this bigger than it is. She felt heat rise behind her eyes. I'm not trying to attack you, she said softly. I just want to talk. I want us to understand each other. I want to feel safe with you. Arif laughed under his breath. A slow, cold, devastating laugh. Safe, he repeated. You talk like I'm your husband. Relax. Her heart shattered a little. I'm just saying how I feel. And I'm telling you how I feel, he snapped. You're emotional. You expect too much. Every small thing becomes a big conversation. It's exhausting, Ria. She swallowed hard. That word again. Exhausting. I'm not trying to fight, she whispered. Her voice broke. I just want to fix this. He finally looked at her. His face softened. Not with love, but with familiarity. He walked over, sat next to her, and lowered his voice. Listen, like you, but you're making things complicated. If you keep reacting like this, I'm going to pull away. I don't want to, but I will. The threat was so gentle that it sounded like a warning for her own good. Ria's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. So I have to stay quiet, she asked. No, just don't be so sensitive. She looked down at her hands, shaking, trying to hold on. She didn't recognize herself anymore. After a long silence, she whispered, Arif, do you even want me in your life? He sighed deeply, the kind of sigh that makes a person feel like a burden. If I didn't want you, he said, I wouldn't be here, right? That wasn't an answer, but it was enough to keep her. Then he touched her cheek gently. The shift was instant. Come here, he murmured. She leaned into him helplessly. His arms around her felt like safety, even though they were the reason she needed safety in the first place. He kissed her forehead, that familiar soft kiss that always undid her. I'm here. You're okay, he whispered. And just like always, the apology she needed never came, but the comfort did. And comfort was her weakness. She buried her face in his chest, breathing in his scent, hoping it could fix something deeper. Didn't. But for a moment, it made her feel whole. When she left his place that night, she told herself the conversation went well, that things would improve, that he would try harder, that she had been heard. But deep down, beneath all the layers of affection and denial, something in her knew. She hadn't fixed anything. She had only learned how tightly she was willing to hold her own pain, just to keep him. Chapter 14. Silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers, full of truths, full of things you don't want to hear. For Ria, silence became a new kind of punishment. One Arif used with precision. After their conversation, for him it was a lecture. For her it was survival. She expected things to get better. He had held her. He had softened. He had told her he was here. That night, she went to sleep feeling fragile, but hopeful. The next morning, nothing. No morning text. No call. Not even a single emoji. She waited, telling herself, he must be sleeping. He must be working. He'll text any minute. By lunchtime her chest was tight. By evening she felt sick. She tried not to message first, fearing she would seem emotional, like he had accused her of. But the anxiety felt like drowning. Finally, at 7:46 p.m. she sent, Are you okay? Delivered. Read. No reply. That familiar ache twisted inside her again. The silence wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. She waited until midnight. Her throat felt heavy. Her mind felt foggy. Every hour that passed made her feel less like a person, and more like an inconvenience he had put on mute. She finally fell asleep after 3 a.m., phone in her hand. "2." She messaged again in the morning. Did something happen? Again. Delivered. We. Ignored. By afternoon she was shaking. Not from anger. From fear. Fear of losing him. Fear of upsetting him. Fear of the silence stretching so long that it became permanent. She kept checking his social media. Checked if he viewed her story. Checked if he posted anything. Nothing. That kind of nothing is more painful than any insult. By evening she felt hollow. She didn't tell Anaya. She was scared her friend would tell her to finally leave him. A truth she wasn't ready to face. So she sat alone in her room, knees pulled to her chest, mind replaying every moment, every word, every breath. What did I do wrong? Was I too emotional? Did I push him again? Is he tired of me? Is he gone? What if he found someone else? Her mind spun in circles until she felt dizzy. She typed messages she never sent. "Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I miss you." She deleted all of them, because he had taught her that expressing emotion equals drama. Expressing needs equals clinginess. Expressing pain equals burden. So she stayed silent, trying to fix things by disappearing her feelings. But his silence stayed louder. Day 3. By the third day, something inside her changed. Not strength, not clarity, numbness. She woke up and felt nothing. Didn't check her phone right away. Didn't rewrite messages. Didn't whisper apologies to herself. Just numb. At 1:55 p.m., her phone finally buzzed. Her breath got stuck in her throat. Orif. Hey! Just that. One word. 3 letters. Casual greeting. As if he hadn't disappeared for 70 hours. While she tore herself apart. Her fingers trembled as she typed. Hey! Crazy week. You good? She stared at the message until her eyes burned. He wasn't acknowledging it. Not a single moment of her pain. Not an ounce of responsibility. Not even a fake apology. He had hit reset and expected her to keep up. She typed, "I've been worried." He replied, "You worry too much." Her stomach dropped. The familiar dismissiveness. The familiar minimization. The familiar cycle. And worst of all, a familiar truth bloomed inside her. He knew exactly how his silence affected her. And he didn't care. Still, she forced herself to say, "Can we meet?" He replied instantly, "Tonight, babe. Come to my place." Just like that. As if nothing was broken. As if she hadn't cried herself to sleep. As if the silence hadn't crushed her. And Ria. She went. Not because she wanted to. Because she needed to feel chosen again. Even if it was temporary. When he opened the door that night, he hugged her like everything was normal. Like she hadn't been ghosted. Like she hadn't been hurting. And she, always, folded into him. 'Cause the silence had hurt more than the humiliation. But something was different. His arms felt familiar. But they didn't feel safe. His presence felt comforting. But it didn't feel healing. Her heart still beat fast for him. But some part of her had stopped beating. The same way. That night, she didn't tell him about the pain. She didn't ask for explanations. She didn't confront the silence. Because for the first time since she met him, the silence had shown her something louder than his words. She was losing him. But she was losing herself faster. Chapter 15 Self-Worth Awakens. The shift didn't come like lightning. It didn't roar or explode or shatter anything loudly. It came like a quiet click inside her chest. The soft, unmistakable sound of something finally snapping into place. It happened a few days after the silence episode. Ariv was being normal. Warm text, random calls, memes he thought she'd like, small flirty messages. The calm after the storm. The part of the cycle that always kept her hooked. She responded, but something was missing. A heaviness had settled behind her ribs, quiet but undeniable. For the first time, his sweetness didn't feel like love, felt like strategy. She noticed it during a phone call. He was telling her about his day, something trivial about a coworker, and she realized she wasn't really listening, not because it wasn't interesting, but because she was tired. Tired in a way she had never been before. Tired of guessing. Tired of apologizing. Tired of shrinking herself to fit inside his unpredictable moods. He said, "You're quiet today." She almost said, "Because you break me and you don't even see it." But instead she said, "I'm just thinking." "About what?" he asked. She hesitated, and then, without planning it, she said the truth. Soft, simple, cutting. "Myself." He went silent, not offended, not angry, just confused. Rhea realized something in that moment. He didn't understand a version of her who wasn't orbiting around him. Her world had become so small, and he stood in the center of it, without even trying. But something had started growing in the corner of that small world. Seed. Spark. A whisper of a forgotten voice. Or the first change. That evening, instead of waiting for his reply, she took a long shower, tied her hair in a towel, and sat by the window. She journaled for the first time in weeks. What do I want? What do I need? What makes me feel happy? When did I last feel like myself? As she wrote, something loosened, a knot that had been tightening for months. She remembered herself before Arif, the girl who laughed loudly, who had hobbies, who didn't check her phone every minute, who wasn't scared of speaking her feelings. She missed that girl. She wanted her back. She decided something small, almost silly, but meaningful. The next morning, she wouldn't wake up and reach for her phone. She wouldn't wait for a good morning text. She wouldn't measure her worth by how fast he replied. She would start her day for herself. The morning after felt strange at first. She woke up, saw her phone lighting up with his messages. "Morning, beautiful. Are you awake? Hello." Grinning face with smiling eyes. Normally, that would have made her melt. Normally, she would have replied instantly. Instead, she put the phone face down. He stretched, made coffee, played music, opened her laptop, and edited a video she'd been avoiding. For the first time in months, felt like not fully healed, not strong yet, but breathing. When she finally checked her phone, she replied calmly, "Good morning." No heart emoji, no paragraphs, no over-explaining, just herself. Arif noticed instantly. "You sound different." She smiled at the screen. She wasn't trying to sound different. She was different. "Just taking things slow today," she replied. He asked, "Everything okay?" And for once, she didn't shape her words to soothe his ego. "Yeah, just focusing on myself a little." There was a long pause. She stared at the typing dots. He finally replied, "Oh, just oh." He didn't know how to respond to a version of her that wasn't clinging to him. And that tiny "oh" made her realize something massive. When she needed him, he was distant. But the moment she became unavailable, even a little, he didn't like it. That wasn't love. That was control. Something starts to bloom. Over the next few days, micro shifts happened inside her. As she started reading again, she went on a walk alone. As she took a long bath without checking her phone. As she said no when he called it a bad time. As she slept earlier. As she ate without anxiety. As she laughed with her friends again. Little things. But little things build foundations. For the first time in months, her world started expanding. Beyond him, he noticed the change. Even if she didn't mention it. "You're distant lately." "I'm just rediscovering myself," she said. He didn't reply for a long time. I don't want to lose you. It should have made her melt. But this time, something inside her whispered back. Then maybe you should have treated me better. She didn't send that. Not yet. But the fact that she thought it, clearly, confidently, meant she was waking up. Self-worth doesn't explode overnight. It grows like dawn, slow, golden, undeniable. And Ria's dawn had begun. Chapter 15. Self-worth awakens. The shift didn't come like lightning. It didn't roar or explode or shatter anything loudly. It came like a quiet click inside her chest. The soft, unmistakable sound of something finally snapping into place. It happened a few days after the silence episode. Arif was being normal. Warm text, random calls, memes he thought she'd like, small flirty messages. The calm after the storm. The part of the cycle that always kept her hooked. She responded, but something was missing. A heaviness had settled behind her ribs. Quiet but undeniable. For the first time, his sweetness didn't feel like love. Felt like strategy. She noticed it during a phone call. He was telling her about his day. Something trivial about a coworker. And she realized she wasn't really listening. Not because it wasn't interesting, but because she was tired. Tired in a way she had never been before. Tired of guessing. Tired of apologizing. Tired of shrinking herself to fit inside his unpredictable moods. He said, "You're quiet today." She almost said, "Because you break me and you don't even see it." But instead she said, "I'm just thinking." "About what?" he asked. She hesitated. And then, without planning it, she said the truth. Soft, simple, cutting. "Myself." He went silent. Not offended. Not angry. Just confused. Ria realized something in that moment. He didn't understand a version of her who wasn't orbiting around him. Her world had become so small, and he stood in the center of it, without even trying. But something had started growing. In the corner of that small world. Seed. Spark. A whisper of a forgotten voice. Or the first change. That evening, instead of waiting for his reply, she took a long shower, tied her hair in a towel, and sat by the window. She journaled for the first time in weeks. What do I want? What do I need? What makes me feel happy? When did I last feel like myself? As she wrote, something loosened. A knot that had been tightening for months. She remembered herself before Arif. The girl who laughed loudly. Who had hobbies. Who didn't check her phone every minute. Who wasn't scared of speaking her feelings. She missed that girl. She wanted her back. She decided something small. Almost silly. But meaningful. The next morning. She wouldn't wake up and reach for her phone. She wouldn't wait for a good morning text. She wouldn't measure her worth by how fast he replied. She would start her day. For herself. The morning after. Felt strange at first. She woke up. Saw her phone lighting up. With his messages. "Morning, beautiful. Are you awake? Hello." Grinning face with smiling eyes. Normally, that would have made her melt. Normally, she would have replied instantly. Instead, she put the phone face down. He stretched, made coffee, played music, opened her laptop, and edited a video she'd been avoiding. For the first time in months, felt like not fully healed, not strong yet, but breathing. When she finally checked her phone, she replied calmly, "Good morning." No heart emoji, no paragraphs, no over-explaining, just herself. Arif noticed instantly. "You sound different." She smiled at the screen. She wasn't trying to sound different. She was different. "Just taking things slow today," she replied. He asked, "Everything okay?" And for once, she didn't shape her words to soothe his ego. "Yeah, just focusing on myself a little." There was a long pause. She stared at the typing dots. He finally replied, "Oh, just oh." He didn't know how to respond to a version of her that wasn't clinging to him. And that tiny oh made her realize something massive. When she needed him, he was distant. But the moment she became unavailable, even a little, he didn't like it. That wasn't love. That was control. Something starts to bloom. Over the next few days, micro shifts happened inside her. As she started reading again, she went on a walk alone. As she took a long bath without checking her phone. As she said no when he called it a bad time. As she slept earlier. As she ate without anxiety. As she laughed with her friends again. Little things. But little things build foundations. For the first time in months, her world started expanding. Beyond him, he noticed the change. Even if she didn't mention it. "You're distant lately." "I'm just rediscovering myself," she said. He didn't reply for a long time. "I don't want to lose you." It should have made her melt. But this time, something inside her whispered back. "Then maybe you should have treated me better." She didn't send that. Not yet. But the fact that she thought it, clearly, confidently, meant she was waking up. Self-worth doesn't explode overnight. It grows like dawn. Slow, golden, undeniable. And Ria's dawn had begun. Chapter 17. The Manipulation Trap. Arif didn't react instantly. People like him never do. They don't explode. They calculate. They wait for the most effective moment to pull you back in. For the next 2 days, he gave Ria exactly what she asked for. Faith. Not affection. Not attention. Not effort. Just distance. But not the cold, punishing silence he used before. This silence felt intentional, crafted, measured. Enough to make her wonder. Enough to make her anxious. Enough to make her miss the version of him who held her and whispered lies wrapped in tenderness. She checked her phone more than she wanted to admit. She replayed their last conversation. Her mind bounced between relief and fear. What if he's done trying? What if he takes this space as a breakup? What if I push too hard? What if he finds someone else? Space was supposed to make her breathe. Instead, it made her drown in her own thoughts. And Arif knew it. This was his trap. He understood her patterns better than she understood herself. The comeback message. On the third night, just when her chest tightened with uncertainty, her phone buzzed. Arif. Long message. Too long. Too emotional. Too perfectly timed. Ria, I know you said you need space. And I'm giving you that. But I can't lie. These last days have been hell for me. Her heart clenched. He continued. I keep replaying your words. I'm focusing on myself. It hit me harder than I expected. Her stomach twisted. I realized I haven't loved you the way you deserve. She froze. Loved. He used the word loved. He had never used it before. The trap snapped quietly around her heart. He continued. I don't want to lose you. You're the only person who makes me feel understood. Please don't give up on me. Her breath trembled. 'Cause this message felt real. Confessional. Broken. But it was timed exactly. When she felt weakest. Manipulation always tastes like truth. When you're starving for affection. She typed slowly. Arif, I'm not giving up. I just need stability. He replied instantly. You will get it. I swear on everything I will be better. Promises. Promised promises. Sweet poison. Then the message that fully hooked her back. Can you come over? I want to hold you. Her entire body softened with longing, with familiarity, with fear and desire intertwined. She typed, on my way. The reunion. He opened the door before she could knock. His face looked tired, vulnerable, or at least he played it well. He pulled her into him, with urgency, with desperation, with a longing he never expressed. When she was emotionally available. God, I missed you, he whispered into her hair. She melted, not because she trusted him, but because she wanted to feel wanted. He held her face gently, thumbs brushing her cheeks. eyes soft enough to make her forget every version of him that had hurt her. "You're not allowed to push me away again," he murmured. It sounded tender. It was possessive. He kissed her, slow, deep, intense, full of the hunger of someone who wants control back, not love. When he finally pulled away, he whispered, "I need you." But it wasn't need. It was strategy. The hook deepens. That night, he was everything she ever wanted him to be. Attentive, vulnerable, gentle, affectionate, emotionally open, dependent, devoted. He kissed her hands, tucked her hair behind her ear, held her waist like she was his lifeline, said things that felt dangerous because they felt perfect. "You're the only person who makes me feel safe. If you leave, I'll break. I can't lose you. Not now. Not ever. You're my peace. You're my person." The words landed like lightning inside her chest, bright, hot, electric. He held her the entire night, breathed against her neck, stayed close as if she were oxygen. He felt special, chosen, needed. And that's how the trap works. They break you, then rebuild you, exactly the way they want. She left his apartment the next morning, with her heart full, and her mind quiet. She thought, "He's changing. He finally understands. This is the real him." But she didn't see the truth hiding behind all that affection. He wasn't afraid of losing her love. He was afraid of losing his control over her emotions, and regaining her through grand gestures and beautiful words wasn't love. It was possession. Chapter 18. She sees through him. For a little while, everything felt perfect again. Ariv was attentive, affectionate, consistent, gentle, present. All the things she had been begging for silently for months. He texted good morning every day. He called her during lunch. He sent voice notes at night. He asked about her day with real interest. He even talked about future plans again. Weekend trips, movies, dinners, experiences. Rhea felt warm again, safe again, wanted again. But something inside her, something small, quiet, newly awakened, refused to drown this time. She noticed things she had ignored before. His patterns, his timing, his calculated sweetness. She noticed how his tenderness only arrived when she pulled away. His vulnerability came only after she gave up parts of herself. His desperation vanished the moment she softened. His consistency wasn't real, only reactionary. His closeness felt like a performance, not connection. She wasn't naive anymore. She wasn't blind. Not fully. She was still in love, still attached, still tangled in him. But she was now watching. And when you start watching someone clearly, their illusions dissolve. Like fog under sunlight, the cracks reappear. A week later, the cracks returned. In tiny, almost invisible ways. The first one came during a phone call. He asked, "Where are you?" Rhea replied softly, "Going out for a walk." A harmless statement. But his tone shifted immediately. "With who?" "Alone." "You didn't tell me." She frowned. "I don't have to tell you every time I go outside." Ariv went silent for 2 seconds, then forced a chuckle. Right. Just checking, monitoring, controlling." The second crack came the next day. She posted a picture with Anaya. A simple selfie, nothing special. Within minutes, he texted, "Cute picture. You look different." Different. A single word dagger. "Different how?" she asked cautiously. He replied, "Don't know. Just a vibe." The insecurity returned. Not naturally. 'Cause he triggered it. Intentionally. Toughly. The third crack came during dinner. They were eating noodles when her phone buzzed. She didn't check it. Ariv raised an eyebrow. "Aren't you going to see who it is?" "No. I'm with you," she smiled. He nodded. But something sharpened in his eyes. She noticed, for the first time, He needed control over her attention, her priority, her availability. And because she wasn't as clingy anymore, he felt it slipping. The moment it hit her, the fourth crack, the biggest one, arrived during a small, stupid argument. She was telling him about a moment from her childhood, a story she had shared only once before. Halfway through, he cut her off mid-sentence. "Ria, can we not do the emotional stuff today? It drains me." She froze. The story wasn't emotional. She wasn't crying. She wasn't asking for anything. She was just sharing herself, and he found even that inconvenient. In the past, she would have apologized immediately, felt guilty, felt wrong, felt dramatic. But this time, her self-worth, newly awakened and still fragile, protected her. A small voice inside whispered, "He only wants the parts of you that serve him. He never wants the parts of you that need care. He loves your softness, but not when it requires effort. He doesn't want to know you. He wants to own the version of you he created." She felt a cold heaviness spread through her chest, because she finally understood something she hadn't seen clearly before. Arif didn't love her. He loved her availability, her devotion, her attention, her silence, her softness, her emotional labor, her patience, her surrender. He didn't want a partner. He wanted a mirror, reflecting him, validating him, adoring him. He didn't want to share a life. He wanted a place to put his loneliness when it became too heavy to carry. And worst of all, he wasn't scared of losing her love. He was scared of losing his power to shape her feelings. The shift in her eyes. That night, when she lay on her bed thinking, her heart broke in a way that didn't make her cry. Not loud, not messy, not trembling. A different kind of heartbreak. A kind that comes when clarity replaces confusion. Clean break, quiet break, truthful break. She whispered to herself, "He doesn't love me. He just hates being alone." For the first time, the truth didn't shatter her. It strengthened her. Something inside her, a piece of herself she thought she lost months ago, rose quietly from the rubble. It wasn't anger. It wasn't hatred. It was detachment. Fragile, but real. She wasn't ready to leave. Not yet. But she was ready to see. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. Not even for love. Not even for him. Chapter 19, The Goodbye Message. Ria didn't wake up that morning planning to end anything. Goodbyes never begin as goodbyes. They begin as exhaustion, as heaviness, as a silence inside you that grows louder than anyone else's voice. That's how it began for her. Quiet heaviness, a feeling she could no longer swallow, a truth she could no longer unsee. The trigger. Arif messaged her at noon. "What's your plan today?" Not "how are you?" Not "did you sleep well?" Not "are you feeling better?" Just surveillance. Just checking. Just monitoring. She replied honestly, "Going to the cafe for some me time." 5 minutes later he replied, "With who?" There it was again. The instinctive suspicion. The entitlement. The unspoken demand for ownership. Her heart didn't race this time. Sank. Slowly. Quietly. Finally. She typed, "Alone." Arif sent 3 dots. Typing. Then erased. Typed again. Erased again. Finally. "Okay." But the word held resentment, possessiveness, fear of losing control. And Ria realized something deeply painful. Whenever she chose herself, even in the smallest ways, he punished her with coldness. She closed the chat. For the first time, she didn't wait for his next message. She didn't check if he went online. She didn't rehearse responses. She didn't fear his reaction. Her heart was tired. And tired hearts don't beg. They break quietly. And then make decisions. The moment of realization. At the cafe. She sat with her journal open, watching people walking in and out, smiling, living, breathing. She wondered, why did loving him feel like drowning while holding my breath for approval? Why did I become smaller to fit inside someone else's comfort zone? Why did I forget who I was before him? And then the deepest question of all, what am I losing by staying? She looked around the cafe. No fear, no anxiety, no guilt. Just her, just Ria, just a girl who once loved life, before she started loving a man who made her shrink. A single tear slid down her cheek, not from heartbreak, but from relief. She whispered to herself, I want my life back. And that was the moment the goodbye began. Writing the message. She didn't plan it. Her hand moved before her brain caught up. She opened WhatsApp, opened his chat, stared at his name for a long, painful moment. Then she wrote, Arif, I'm not angry. I'm not blaming you. I'm just accepting the truth. We want different things. I need emotional safety. And you need someone who doesn't ask for it. I'm tired of feeling small. Tired of feeling afraid. Tired of apologizing for having feelings. I'm not leaving out of anger. I'm leaving because I'm choosing myself this time. She paused. Her fingers trembled. But she kept typing. You taught me things. Some beautiful, some painful. But I can't keep losing myself. To hold on to you. I hope you find what you're looking for. But I can't be it anymore. Then the final line. Goodbye, Arif. No drama. No accusations. No begging. Just truth. Her truth. She hovered over the send button. Her heart pounded once. 3 times. And then she pressed it. Delivered. Read. Her breath shook, but didn't break. Her eyes filled, but didn't spill. Her heart cracked, but didn't collapse. Silence filled the world. But it wasn't the silence he used as a weapon. It was her silence. A silence full of peace. A silence full of self-respect. A silence full of the girl she had abandoned. Finally coming home. His reaction. Arif's reply came quickly. Too quickly. Predictably. What? Ria, stop. You're overreacting. Call me. He didn't. A second message. We're not done. We can fix this. Just come over. He didn't. Third message. You can't leave me like this. She swallowed. A fourth. Ria, answer me. Now. Her hands didn't move. Then the final attempt. I love you. Once, those words would have destroyed her. Now they felt empty. Manipulative. Convenient. She blocked his number. Not out of hatred. Out of survival. When she stepped outside the cafe, the world looked different. Not brighter. Not magical. Just honest. And for the first time in months, Ria breathed deeply. And felt like she wasn't drowning. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. Healing is messy. Loneliness hurts. Memories linger. But she knew one thing. She chose herself. And that choice, that single, powerful, terrifying choice, was her first step toward becoming whole again. Chapter 20. Healing begins. The days after the goodbye weren't beautiful. They weren't empowering. They weren't peaceful. They were quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of your own heartbeat. The kind of quiet that makes your room feel bigger than it ever was. The kind of quiet that feels like the world is holding its breath with you. Ria didn't wake up stronger. She woke up empty. But for the first time, the emptiness wasn't terrifying. It was honest. There was no waiting for a message. No rehearsing responses. No anxiety about his moods. No guilt sitting on her chest. Just a strange, unfamiliar silence. A silence that wasn't punishment anymore. A silence that belonged to her. The first evening alone. That evening she made dinner for one. She played soft music. She lit a candle she had been saving for better days. It wasn't a better day, but it was hers. She sat on the floor, hugging her knees, letting her mind slowly untangle from memories. She didn't cry. Not the messy kind. Just one soft tear. like her heart releasing something heavy, without drama or noise. She whispered, "I'm still here." And that was enough. Tiny signs of healing. Healing wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It looked like a drinking water without feeling nauseous, a sleeping through the night for the first time in weeks, a returning to an old playlist, texting a friend back, a opening the window to let fresh air in, feeling hunger again, a smiling at a stranger, a breathing without her chest tightening. Small victories, invisible to the world, life-changing to her, a moment that changed everything. On the third night, she sat by the window, wrapped in a blanket, watching the moon rise across the buildings. And she realized something quietly. She wasn't missing him anymore. She was missing who she was before him. And that was a wound she could actually heal, because she could get herself back. And that is where healing truly began. The first step forward. The next morning, she made a list in her journal. Things I want to do for myself. She added, read again, paint something, Kolonaya, make coffee slowly, clean my room, take care of my skin, learn something new, be patient with myself. None of it was grand. None of it required strength. Just kindness, gentleness. And as she wrote, her breathing softened. She wasn't healed. But she wasn't broken either. She was beginning. A slow, quiet, brave beginning. The kind that grows into something beautiful, without needing anyone to witness it. Chapter 21. Rediscovering herself. Healing isn't fireworks. It isn't a dramatic awakening or a grand transformation. Healing is quiet, low, and steady. A series of small choices that only you notice. And for Rhea, it began in the simplest possible ways. Not with joy, with stillness, not with strength, with honesty, not with love for herself, with the desire to learn how to love herself again. The first morning without him, she woke up without checking her phone. Not because she forgot, but because she didn't want to. There were no unread messages, no typing dots, no expectations pressing against her chest like a weight. Just silence. But it wasn't painful anymore. It was clean. It was gentle. It was hers. She sat up slowly, took a deep breath, and realized her first thought wasn't about him. Her first thought was, what do I want today? Felt strange, foreign, but good, raw and untouched. A kind of freedom she hadn't felt in months. Small acts of reclaiming herself. She made chai the way she used to, before she started adjusting the sugar to match Arif's preferences. She put on music she used to love, songs she had stopped listening to, because they reminded her of the person she used to be. She opened her wardrobe and put on a dress she hadn't worn, because he once said, "You look better in lighter colors." She looked at herself in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, she saw a girl who wasn't afraid to exist. The spark inside her was still tiny, but it was there. The journal makes its return. She opened her journal and started writing again. Not about pain, not about him. She wrote about herself. What makes me feel powerful? What did I sacrifice to please someone? What do I want the next version of me to look like? Who am I when I'm not trying to be enough for someone else? Her handwriting looked shaky, but her words looked honest. And honesty is the first step to healing. She reaches out to life again. She texted her best friend Anaya. "Coffee. I miss you." Anaya replied with, "You're back." Rhea smiled. For the first time in months, she felt like she was returning to a place where her heart belonged. Her friendships, her routines, her dreams. She spent the evening with Anaya, laughing about stupid things, sharing new ideas, talking about everything except him. Anaya looked at her and said softly, "You look lighter. I don't know how to explain it, but you're glowing differently." Rhea didn't realize it before, but she was not glowing with perfection, glowing with relief. She rebuilds her dreams slowly. She picked up her editing projects again, creating videos not for clients, but for herself. To walk more, book more, read more, slept without nightmares, cried sometimes, but it was a clean cry, a release cry, not the suffocating kind. She went to a pottery class. She had once planned to go with Arif, but this time alone. She made a crooked, imperfect bowl. The instructor said, "Beautiful effort." Ria smiled. It was beautiful, not because it was perfect, but because she made it, with her own hands. For the first time in months, a new version of her emerges. Weeks passed. The ache faded. The longing softened. The memories lost their sharpness. One morning she woke up and realized something powerful. She no longer felt afraid of losing him. She no longer felt addicted to his attention. She no longer replayed conversations in her head. She no longer shaped herself to fit someone else's idea of love. She was learning to exist without permission. She was learning to breathe without anxiety. She was learning to choose herself, not out of rebellion, but out of understanding. Understanding that she was never too emotional. She was never too much. She was never the problem. She was simply loving the wrong person, with all the right parts of herself. Now, those parts were coming home. The final line of this chapter. Ria didn't become healed. Ria didn't become perfect. Ria didn't become unbreakable. She became honest, present, aware, gentle with herself, curious about the woman she could grow into. A woman who no longer bends herself to fit inside someone else's emptiness. A woman who holds her own softness with respect. A woman who knows losing him was painful, but losing herself would have been tragic. And she wasn't willing to let that happen again. Chapter 22. He gets replaced in her mind. Ria didn't go looking for anyone. She wasn't trying to fall in love again. She wasn't trying to fill the void. She wasn't trying to move on in a dramatic way. She was simply rebuilding herself, brick by brick, quietly, slowly, intentionally. And sometimes, when you finally stop bleeding, life sends someone who shows you what healthy feels like. Not to replace love, but to correct your definition of it. That's how she met Kabir. The first encounter. It was nothing romantic, nothing cinematic, just life doing what it does, crossing paths without permission. She was at her pottery class, the one she joined after leaving Arif, working on a clay cup that kept collapsing in her hands. "Try using less pressure," someone said beside her. She looked up. Kabir stood there, tall, calm, with kind eyes, and a gentle presence that didn't demand attention. He smiled, not flirtatiously, not intensely, just kindly. She felt something loosen inside her chest. Not attraction, not excitement, just ease. "Here," he said, guiding her fingers without touching them. "Let the clay rise on its own. Don't force it." He tried again. This time the cup held. She laughed softly. "You're good at this." He shrugged. "I'm good at fixing broken clay. Not sure about broken people." Ria's breath caught for a moment, the irony too delicate to ignore. But she didn't explain, didn't overshare, didn't bleed her heart out, just to feel understood. She simply said, "Good thing I'm only making cups." Kabir smiled. Warm. A smile that didn't pull, didn't push, didn't manipulate. A smile that just existed. The conversations begin. Over the next few sessions, they kept running into each other. Not intentionally, but with a natural rhythm that felt like life gently nudging her forward. Kabir noticed things without turning them into weapons. "You look tired today, drink water. You did great on that bowl, it's better than mine. That color suits you. That joke wasn't funny but your laugh was." His words didn't poke at her insecurities. They didn't change her mood. They didn't confuse her. They simply existed, the way genuine expressions do. For the first time in months, someone spoke to her, without hidden meanings, felt strange, uncomfortable, beautiful. He didn't want anything from her. He didn't ask for her number, didn't text her late at night, didn't hover around her. He didn't need her attention to fuel his ego. He didn't change his tone based on how she replied. He didn't punish her with silence or reward her with affection. He just talked, just shared, just listened. He was consistent in a way that terrified her, 'cause it felt so unfamiliar. Consistency felt like a foreign language. After months of emotional confusion, the moment she noticed the shift happened one evening when they were both cleaning up clay. Kabir looked at her cup and said, "Beautiful effort." The same words the instructor once told her. But when Kabir said it, something clicked. Because in his eyes, she was enough even when imperfect. No conditions, no corrections, no control, just appreciation. And for the first time since Arif, Ria felt something new inside her. Possibility. Not for romance, not for rebound, not for validation. Just possibility. The possibility that not every man will weaponize your softness. Not every relationship will demand your silence. Not every connection requires you to shrink. She walked home that day with a strange lightness, not because of Kabir, but because she realized her heart still worked. Her trust wasn't broken, just bruised. Her ability to connect wasn't dead, just cautious. Her future wasn't ruined, just rewritten. Kabir wasn't a replacement for Arif. He wasn't a love interest. He wasn't a savior. He was a reminder. A reminder that love isn't supposed to hurt. Affection isn't supposed to confuse. Attention isn't supposed to be earned. He was a mirror, reflecting a version of herself she had forgotten. A version worthy of kindness, gentleness, respect. And in that realization, Arif finally began fading. Not with anger, not with hatred, with clarity. Ria didn't fall for Kabir. She fell back into herself. Chapter 23. Arif falls apart. People like Arif always know when they're losing control. Not when you block them. Not when you leave them. Not when you scream at them. They know when you stop reacting. And Ria had stopped reacting. No long paragraphs. No emotional explanations. No panic when he replied late. No desperate attempts to stabilize the relationship. No walking on eggshells. Just calm, detached responses. He felt it immediately, like a shift in gravity. The first sign he was slipping from her world. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. He texted, "Where are you?" Earlier, Ria would have answered instantly. Now she saw it and kept reading her book. She replied 20 minutes later. "At pottery class." He replied, "You didn't tell me. I didn't think I had to." That sentence, that simple, small sentence, hit him like a punch. For months she had been predictable, available, eager to please, afraid of upsetting him. Now she spoke like someone who no longer centered her life around his moods. He replied with, "Okay." But behind that okay, panic was already growing. The second sign she didn't ask. Arif tried calling in the evening. Ria let it ring. Not to punish him, not to play games. She was just busy being herself again. She called back half an hour later. He picked up immediately. "Where were you?" he asked sharply. "I was showering." "You could have answered after." "I was relaxing." "I'll talk now." He hated that sentence. Always she had been the one trying to soothe him. Now she was calm, steady, non-reactive. And that terrified him. The third sign, she didn't break anymore. A few days later, he sent a message he often used to regain control. "I'm having a bad day." Before she would drop everything. Push, support, nurture, carry his emotions for him. Now, she replied. I'm sorry. I hope tomorrow is better. No, what happened? No, talk to me. No, I'm here for you. Just a normal, healthy response. Too healthy for him. He felt her slipping, not physically, but emotionally. An emotional distance is the worst fear of someone who feeds on your attention. The panic begins. That night, he showed up at her apartment without warning. She opened the door, surprised. Arif, you should have called. I needed to see you, he said, voice sharp with anxiety masked as urgency. She stepped aside politely, but didn't melt into him the way she used to. He noticed immediately. You're acting different, he said. I'm acting like myself, she replied simply. He stared at her, confused, frustrated, tired. He sat on the sofa. He sat beside her. So, this is because of that message you sent. The whole I need space thing. Ria shook her head. No, this is because I'm healing. He inhaled sharply. The kind of breath someone takes right before something inside them cracks. He tries to regain control. Arif's voice softened instantly. Ria, I can't lose you. She looked at him calmly. You're not losing me, she said softly. You're losing the version of me who tolerated everything. That line shook him. He grabbed her hand. I love you, he said suddenly, desperately, like a man grabbing the last branch before falling. But Ria didn't crumble this time. She didn't rush into his arms. She didn't cry. She didn't feel the earth shift inside her. She just felt tired. Arif, she whispered. You love the idea of me. Not me. He flinched. She continued. You love how much I gave. But you never learned how to give back. You love how I understood you. But you never tried to understand me. His eyes widened. Because it was true. And he had never heard truth spoken. So softly, so clearly, so fearlessly. He tightened his grip on her hand. Don't do this. Don't go, Ria. Change. Swear. I'll do anything. She didn't smile. Didn't break. Didn't soften. You had so many chances to change, she said. And every time you chose comfort over effort. He went silent. His panic turned into anger. Then turned into desperation. Then turned into fear. Is there someone else? He asked suddenly. No, she said. There's someone new in my life, yes. Me. The breakdown. Arif stood up abruptly, pacing. I can't believe this, he muttered. I shouldn't have let you go that day. I should have held on tighter. You belong with me. She stood up too. No, she said gently. I belong to myself first. And I'm just returning home. His voice broke. Ria, don't do this. I need you. She looked at him. The man she once loved. The man who hurt her more than he held her. The man who taught her pain disguised as passion. You need control, she corrected quietly. Not me. He stopped pacing, stared at her. For the first time, he saw her clearly. Not the girl who cried for him. Not the girl who waited for him. Not the girl he could push and pull. He saw a woman who had learned her worth. In the middle of her breaking. A woman who wouldn't bend anymore. To hold someone else's brokenness. And that terrified him more than losing her love ever could. The final emotion he couldn't handle. She walked him to the door. He hesitated. Ria, he whispered, voice trembling. Please don't move on. She smiled sadly. I already am. One day at a time. He swallowed hard. You're forgetting me. She shook her head. No, she whispered gently. I'm just remembering myself. And when the door closed, Arif didn't feel anger, or rage, or victory. He felt something he had never felt before. Powerless. Because he realized he hadn't lost the girl who loved him. He had lost the girl who allowed him to hurt her. And she was never coming back. Chapter 24, Closure. Closure doesn't come when the pain ends. Closure comes when the truth becomes louder than the hope. For Rhea, closure didn't arrive with a dramatic confrontation, or a screaming match, or a heartbreaking goodbye. It arrived quietly, in a final conversation that felt less like an ending and more like acceptance. The unexpected call. A week passed with no contact. Arif tried calling once or twice, but she didn't pick up. She wasn't avoiding him out of spite. She was protecting her peace. One evening, while she was folding laundry, her phone buzzed. Arif. She stared at the screen for a long moment. Not with panic, not with longing, with stillness. She answered. Hello. His voice was softer than usual. Not manipulative soft, genuinely soft. Rhea, can we talk? She sat down on the edge of her bed. Okay. There was a long silence between them. For the first time ever, Arif didn't rush to fill it. Finally he exhaled. I know you're done, he said quietly. And I'm not calling to change your mind. I just wanted to hear your voice. She didn't melt, didn't break. I'm here, she said calmly. Another long silence. He cleared his throat. You were right. About everything. Rhea blinked. That wasn't a sentence she expected. I hurt you more than I helped you, he continued. I kept needing you when I was lonely, and pushing you away when I felt overwhelmed. Her chest tightened, not with pain, with understanding. Arif, she whispered. He cut her off gently. No, let me say it. You gave me so much. No. I didn't know how to receive it without taking advantage. Rhea's eyes stung. Not with tears of heartbreak, but with quiet grief for what could never be. You weren't a bad person, she said softly. You were just not right for me. His voice cracked. I know. And I hate that I realized it too late. She closed her eyes. Sometimes, she said, we learn the most from the people we're not meant to keep. He swallowed hard. Do you hate me? No, she replied honestly. I don't hate you. But I can't love you the way I used to. Silence from his end. Heavy accepting silence. The final words they needed. Arif finally spoke. Thank you. For loving me. Even when I didn't deserve it. Rhea inhaled deeply. Thank you, she said. For teaching me what I need and what I never want again. More silence. But this time, it wasn't painful. It was peaceful. Arif whispered the last words he would ever say to her. Take care of yourself, Rhea. She smiled softly. You too. And she ended the call. No crying. No collapsing. No what-ifs. No wishing he would change. Just peace. Kind that comes when the chapter has truly ended. What closure felt like. She sat alone in her quiet room. The evening light spilling across the floor. She waited for tears. None came. She waited for pain. None came. Instead, she felt a gentle warmth spreading across her chest, like she had finally laid down a heavy bag she'd been carrying for too long. Not because Arif apologized. Not because he understood. Not because he regretted losing her. But because she was finally free. Free from guilt. Free from confusion. Free from emotional chaos. Free from the version of herself that forgot her own worth. For the first time in months, Rhea closed her eyes and felt whole. Closure wasn't a conversation. Closure was becoming someone who no longer needed him. Chapter 25. A new beginning. Beginnings rarely feel like beginnings. They feel like small steps, tiny breaths, quiet choices. The kind of moments you only recognize in hindsight. For Rhea, her new beginning didn't start the day she left Arif. It didn't start when she blocked him. It didn't even start when she heard his voice break during the closure call. It started the day she looked in the mirror and saw herself again. Not the broken version. Not the insecure version. Not the watered-down, careful version she became with him. But the real her. Soft-hearted. Strong-willed. Compassionate. Creative. Brave in the quietest ways. A woman who had learned to walk with her own shadow, and still found light in it. The morning that felt different. She woke up early. No anxiety, no dread, no urge to check her phone. Just sunlight spilling through the curtains. And the calm rhythm of her own breath. She stretched, sat up, and whispered something she had never said out loud before. I deserve good things. The room didn't change. Nothing magical happened. But something inside her shifted. A gentle realignment. A soft rebellion against every wound she'd normalized. Her life starts expanding again. She started taking long walks in the morning. Watching the stray dogs stretch. Old uncles reading newspapers. Kids running to school with half-done uniforms. She went back to editing videos. With passion instead of pressure. She signed up for a weekend workshop. Not pottery this time, but painting. She met Anaya every week. Without canceling or apologizing or shrinking. She called her mother more often. She cooked her own favorites. She laughed at dumb memes again. Her world was growing. Piece by piece. Breath by breath. Kabir returns, but not as a love story. One Saturday at the pottery studio, Kabir waved at her. Your bowls are getting better, he said with a grin. Ria rolled her eyes playfully. Please, they still look like sad soup plates. He chuckled. You're improving. And improving is enough. She didn't blush. Didn't imagine a future. Didn't replace one man with another. She simply appreciated the moment. Kabir wasn't a love story. He was a reminder of healthy energy. Of kindness without cost. Of presence without control. And for the first time, she understood what she deserved. A relationship where she didn't need to shrink. To feel loved. She realizes what she truly wants. One evening, sitting on her balcony. Sketchbook in her lap. Sunset painting the sky gold. Ria understood something profound. Healing wasn't about forgetting Arif. Healing was about remembering herself. Understanding. As she never needed to earn love. As she never needed to dim her emotions. As she never needed to justify her worth. As she never needed to accept crumbs. As she never needed to become small. She never needed someone who broke her to love harder. She whispered into the quiet air. I am enough. And this time, she believed it. Arif's chapter ends for real. She didn't think about him often anymore. Occasionally he passed her mind. Not with pain. Not with longing. But with a gentle acceptance. He was a chapter. Not the book. Lesson. Not a destiny. Bruise. Not a scar. And she was finally free. From the version of herself that loved him at the cost of her own heart. A new beginning, truly. The next morning, she put on a dress she loved, tied her hair with a scarf, grabbed her journal, and stepped outside. Not to run away from pain. Not to chase love. Not to prove something. But simply to live. Just live. Fully. Bravely. Toughly. Honestly. She walked toward her favorite cafe. Sunlight warm on her skin. A small smile tugging at her lips. Not because she had moved on, but because she had moved forward. Her life wasn't perfect. Her heart wasn't fully healed. But she finally carried herself. With tenderness and clarity. And that was enough. More than enough. Because a woman who chooses herself is the beginning of every beautiful story she will ever live. And Ria had finally begun hers. Chapter 25. A new beginning. Endings don't feel like endings when they happen. They feel like breathing after holding your breath too long. They feel like waking up from a dream that was beautiful in moments, but exhausting in reality. Ria didn't wake up feeling healed. She woke up feeling light. And light is enough. Light is the start. Light is the first sign that the darkness is losing. The first sunrise of her new life. She sat by her window, wrapped in a soft blanket, mug of warm chai in her hands. The city looked the same. Same noises, same traffic, same chaos. But inside her, everything was different. She looked at the sky and whispered to herself, I'm okay. Not perfect. Not healed. Not glowing. Just okay. Sometimes, okay is the strongest beginning. Her days start filling again. Ria's life wasn't instantly glamorous. She still had bad dreams sometimes. Still had moments where Arif's voice echoed in her mind. Still had days where loneliness sat beside her like an old companion. But slowly, her days began to make sense. She cleaned her room. Not because she wanted to distract herself, but because she wanted her space to feel like hers again. She called her mother and laughed without pretending. She went to the park and watched children running around, as if the world didn't know heartbreak. She picked up her camera again and took pictures, just because she wanted to capture something beautiful. Small things, gentle things, human things, life things. Her spark returns. One day during pottery class, Kabir came by her table again. "You look different today," he said. Ria smiled. "I feel different." He didn't pry, didn't ask questions, didn't try to dig into her healing. He simply said, "Good. You deserve to." And he walked away. No pressure, no expectations, no agenda, just kindness. The kind of kindness Arif never knew how to give without strings attached. For the first time in months, Ria realized she wasn't scared of the future anymore. It didn't matter if Kabir stayed, or if someone else entered her life later, or if she remained single for a long time. She was finally building a life that didn't depend on being loved by someone else. She was learning to love herself without apology. Her last memory of Arif changes. She didn't remember him with anger, or longing, or pain. She remembered him simply as a chapter that taught her her worth, a chapter that showed her everything she should never tolerate again, a chapter that taught her the difference between attention and affection, between passion and control, between love and attachment, a chapter she had finally closed, not by force, not by hate, but by growth, the true new beginning. Weeks later, Ria sat in her favorite cafe, journal open, pen in hand. She wrote, "I thought losing him would break me, but losing myself would have destroyed me. I'm glad I chose me." She closed the journal with a soft smile. The waiter placed her usual coffee on the table. She whispered a polite thank you, took a sip, and felt the world settle around her. Not loudly, not dramatically, just peacefully. Healing never announces itself. Simply arrives. In moments like this, where your heart feels safe, inside your own chest. Ria looked out the window, sunlight catching her eyes, and breathed deeply. A breath that didn't hurt, a breath that didn't shake, a breath that belonged to her. And that was her new beginning. Not with someone else, but with herself.